This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
What up? Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live. It's a freaking Thursday. Warlord. It's Biden live right now. I did see that he was speaking. He spoke earlier today. Richard, good evening. If he's live right now, we'll go ahead and take it. Yeah, let's go ahead. We'll pull Biden up. And I'll reintroduce the show. Yeah, he just started speaking. We'll take it from the beginning here, motherfuckers. Welcome. Good evening, Toads, clinically. Good evening. Let's do it. Did I miss anybody? I like you guys. I like you guys an awful lot. Good evening. Welcome. We'll do formalities here in just a little bit. President Joe Biden.
Things before I take your questions. As you know, the special counsel released his findings today about their look into my handling of classified documents. I was pleased to see he reached a firm conclusion that no charges should be brought against me in this case. This was an exhaustive investigation going back more than 40 years, even into the 1970s when I was still a new United States Senator. The special counsel acknowledged I cooperated completely. I did not throw up any roadblocks. I sought no delays. In fact, I was so determined to give the special counsel what he needed, I went forward with a 5-hour in-person interview over 2 days on October the 8th and 9th of last year, even though Israel had just been attacked by Hamas on the 7th and I was very occupied.
I was getting ready to say, is that some kind of an alibi? Joe Biden did October 7th.
Special counsel make clear the stark distinction and difference between this case and Mr. Trump's case. The special counsel wrote, and I quote, "Several material distinctions between Mr. Trump's case and Mr. Biden's are clear," continuing to quote.
Not high enough for this shit.
After given multiple chances to return classified documents to avoid prosecution, Mr. Trump allegedly did the opposite. According to the indictment, he not only refused to return the documents for many months, he also obstructed justice by enlisting others to destroy evidence and then to lie about it. In contrast, he went on to say Mr. Biden turned in classified documents to the National Archives and the Department of Justice, consented to the search of multiple locations, including his home, sat for a voluntary interview, and in other ways cooperated with the investigation, end of quote. I've seen the headlines since the report was released about my willful retention of documents. These assertions are not only misleading, they're just plain wrong. On page 215, if you had a chance, I know it's a thick document. On page 215, the report of the special counsel found the exact opposite. Here's what he wrote. There is in fact a shortage of evidence that I willfully retained classified materials related to Afghanistan. On page 12, the special counsel also wrote for another documents. The decision to decline criminal charges was straightforward. The evidence suggests that Mr. Biden did not willfully retain these documents. The evidence said I did not willfully retain these documents. In addition, I know there's some attention paid to some language in the report about my recollection of events. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business. Let me tell you something. Some of you have commented, I wear since the day he died, every single day, the rosary he got from Our Lady of...
Oh, I thought he was going to unbutton his jacket, his shirt.
Every Memorial Day we hold
I'm ready to throw down.
Attended by friends and family and the people who loved him. I don't need anyone to remind me when he passed away or if he passed away. Simple truth is I sat for a 5-hour interview over 2 days of events going back 40 years. At the same time I was managing an international crisis, their task was to make a decision about whether to move forward with charges in this case. That's their decision to make. That's the counsel's decision to make. That's his job. And they decided not to move forward. For any extraneous commentary, they don't know what they're talking about. It has no place in this report. The bottom line is the matter is now closed. I'm going to continue what I've always focused on, my job of being President of the United States of America. Now, thank you, and I'll take some questions.
President Biden, something the special counsel said in his report is that one of the reasons you were not charged is because, in his description, you are a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
I'm meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been president. I put this country back on its feet. I don't need his recommendation. It's totally
How bad is your memory, and can you continue as president?
My memory is so bad, I let you speak.
But here's the thing, is like, he's always been like that. Like, this isn't like just a thing like he's losing it. He's never been able to, like, recall how things actually happened. That has been, like, sources of gaffes for decades with Joe Biden.
That's
Your memory has gotten worse, Mr. President.
My memory is not good. My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I become president.
Look, I don't have a goddamn memory.
Things I got passed. How'd that happen? You know, I guess I just forgot what was going on.
Mr. President.
Voters have concerns about your age. How are you going to assuage them? And do you fear that this report is only going to fuel further concerns about your age?
Only by some of you.
Mr. President.
That's a good response.
Liability today.
Dead feebly.
Responsibility for at least being careless with classified material.
I take responsibility for not having seen exactly what my staff was doing. It goes in and points out things that appeared in my garage, things that came out of my home, things that were moved not by me but my staff.
He's such a papa. President Papa.
About your age, you would respond with the words, "Watch me." Many American people have been watching, and they have expressed concerns about your age.
That is your judgment.
Sleepy Gary.
That is not the judgment of the press.
They express concerns about your mental acuity. They say that you are too old. Mr. President, in December, you told me that you believe there are many other Democrats who could defeat Donald Trump. So why does it have to be you now? What is your answer
Because
to
I'm the
that
most
question?
qualified person in this country to be president of the United States and finish the job I started.
No.
Do you believe that, guys? Why are you...
I would like Gavin better.
I
I don't even like Gavin.
classified information. I did not share it.
With your ghostwriter.
With my ghostwriter, I did not. Guarantee you did not.
But the special counsel said in the
Well, no,
report
they
that he
did
did.
not say that. He did not say that.
But Mr. President, one other...
Let me answer your question.
You getting feisty.
Fact of the matter is, what I didn't want repeated, I didn't want him to know, and I didn't read it to him, was I had written a long memorandum to President Obama why we should not be in Afghanistan. And I was multiple pages. And so what I was referring to, I said classified. I should have said it should be private because it was a contact between the president and the vice president as to what was going on. That's what he was referring to. It was not classified information in that document. That was not classified.
If you just joined us, this is live right now. We're close to it. We're a little behind. President Biden speaking.
He called on me. When
Hey,
you look back
questions.
at this incident, is there anything you would do differently now? And do you think that a special prosecutor should have been appointed in the first place in both of these cases?
First
In
of
the
all,
first place,
what I would have done is oversee the transfer of the material that was in my office, in my offices. I should have done that. If I go back, I didn't have the responsibility to do that. That was my staff was supposed to do that, and they referenced that in the report. And my staff did not do it in a way that, for example, I didn't know
Good evening,
how
Shelley.
boxes got in my garage until I found out staff gathered them up, put them together, and took them to the garage in my home. And all the stuff that was in my home was in filing cabinets that were either locked or able to be locked. It was in my
politically, good evening. I assure you the rest of the stream will not be boring.
in a public place where, and none of it was high classified. Didn't have any of that red stuff on it. You know what I mean? Around the corners, none of that. And so I wish I had
That red
paid
stuff.
more attention to how the documents were being moved and where. I thought they were being moved to the archives. I thought all of it was being moved. That's what I thought. Now, what was the last part of your question?
Whether a special counsel should have been appointed in this case and in the case of your rival president, former president.
I think a special counsel should have been appointed, and the reason I think a special counsel should have
He
been
is
appointed
juiced up.
is because I did not want to be in a position that they looked at Trump and weren't going to look at me, just like they looked at the vice president. And the fact is they made a firm conclusion. I did not break the law, period. Thank you all very, very much.
And that's all we're getting? No way.
The hostage negotiation.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. He's coming back. Encore.
I'm of the view, as you know, that the conduct of the response in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip, has been
Horrendous.
over the top. I think that, as you know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in.
Did he say Mexico?
I convinced him to open the gate.
He meant Egypt.
Talked to Bibi to open the gate on the Israeli side. I've been pushing really hard to get humanitarian assistance into Gaza. There are a lot of innocent people who are starving, a lot of innocent people who are in trouble and dying, and it's got to stop, number one. Number two, I was also in a position that I'm the guy that made the case that we have to do much more to increase the amount of material going in, including fuel, including other items.
Ain't shit going in right now, Joe.
I've been on the phone with the Egyptians, I've been on the phone with the Saudis to get as much aid as we possibly can into Gaza.
He said Egyptians that time.
Innocent people and innocent women and children who are also in badly in need of help. And so that's what we're pushing. And I'm pushing very hard now to deal with this hostage ceasefire. Because, I've been working tirelessly in this deal.
He said ceasefire.
How can I say this without revealing it? To lead to a sustained pause.
Hey, he said it was over the top, and he said the word ceasefire. That is far more than I expected out of Joe Biden. So I don't want to drag him too hard.
The fighting in the actions taking place in the Gaza Strip. And because I think if we could get the delay for that, the initial delay, I think that we would be able to extend that so that we could increase the prospect that this fighting in Gaza changes. There's also negotiations. You may recall, in the very beginning, right before Hamas
It is certainly word salad.
contact with the Saudis and others to work out a deal where they would recognize Israel's right to exist, make them part of the Middle East, recognize them fully in return for certain things that the United States would commit to do. And the commitment that we were proposing to do related to two items. I'm not going to go in detail, but one of them was to deal with
Something in Yemen.
the protection against their arch enemy to the northwest, northeast, I should say. The second one, by providing ammunition and material for them to defend themselves. Coincidentally, that's the time frame when this broke out. I have no proof what I'm about to say, but it's not unreasonable to suspect that the Hamas understood what was about to take place and wanted to break it up before it happened.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to get everybody to hold for a moment.
Hold for a moment. All right, welcome to the Troll Patrol. Hold on. Will.
This is the Troll Patrol. Live. with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. I don't know why I decided to do the whole opening over again. I didn't really get to do it properly. I didn't get to show you my meme. I didn't get to ramble any. But it's 8:15 right now. We watched that whole Biden speech. I'll keep my promise. We'll find out what that news be doing by 8:20. Tucker Putin just dropped, but it's behind a paywall. I'll probably have to wait and get clips we'll watch on Sunday. Up front, I want to apologize for Sunday night. I had a big meal. I smoked a bong. Me and Smokey got comfortable on the couch, and I fell asleep. I woke up. It was like 8:30. I'm like, ah. I had every intention of doing a show. I was not behind a paywall. Well, I don't want to watch it anyway. We'll watch interesting clips on Sunday night. I've got way more interesting shit than Tucker and Putin. I assure you. What are we talking about? Let me tell you about the interesting shit that I've got to talk about. There's so much news. We're gonna check in on the Republican caucus, which is happening the day after the Republican primary. The Republican primary is hilarious because Nikki Haley lost to not any of these candidates by a lot. And she's apparently claiming Trump rigged it. The Republicans in the House of Representatives tried to pass a resolution. I don't know, they might have actually passed it. We'll have to see when we get to the story here. Saying that Trump didn't actually cause an insurrection. Of course, that was the argument in front of the Supreme Court earlier today. They heard the Colorado case for removing him from the ballot. Apparently, most people agree it's a pretty good showing for Trump, and that they're probably going to find a way to disregard this case. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how they rule, because there's a couple of different options they could take. We'll get into that. Apparently, Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana, a favorite here of this show, it got heated with him and Sheldon Whitehouse over a nominee he is labeled as Marxist. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about the Senate Ukraine bill that passed just in the last couple of hours. I want to say there was some Israel funding in there too. I don't know. Now that I don't do the show every night, I don't keep up with the news. I'm like oblivious to what's going on. All this shit, I'm finding out for the first time. I'm not a pre-watch Andy. And I'm even more ill-informed because I ain't doing it every day anymore. Which we'll see about that. It might be back to every day. Give us a couple months here. Battle Opossum, good evening. We just watched Joe Biden talk about the non-prosecution in his classified documents case, which we'll get into that one as well. Libertad, good evening. But clinically is extra spicy clinically tonight. Tones, fair enough. They're looking for a reason to rule in favor of Trump just by virtue of the fact that they took the case. That like if they didn't want to rule in favor of Trump, they would have just let the lower court ruling stand. They would have declined to hear the case. Fair enough, Tones. Here's your meme of the day. I don't even really think it's a meme. Is this class? It's just a screenshot. It's a humorous screenshot. Is that what a meme is? What's the actual definition of meme? Ah, clinically. Damn it, well, if you think it's weak sauce... it is funny. Okay, let me go with, because I had a hard time picking. Go with this one. When you have no gay friends. I did not listen to the oral arguments, and I was actually asked if I would be streaming them. I probably should have. It would have been interesting. It's like... I'm sorry, Warlord. I have dug myself out of a hell of a hole. But I've done it by the fact that I've worked my ass off. And in order to work my ass off, I gotta have the time, right? So that's why no stream. I would say that help me. Like, if I was financially stable, I'd do this every night because I fucking love it. But unfortunately, and here's the thing is, like, I'm tired of being, like, poor, like, barely scraping by. So, like, I'm gonna make some motherfucking money. I have been making some motherfucking money. Still slightly in the hole. A lot less in the hole than what I was. Probably the last time that I saw you guys. Oh, it's past 8:20. I'm not on the news yet. All that and a lot freaking more. Oh, well, climate change, Drake's dick, a lot of fucking weather in California. We got a lot of cool video of bad weather. I hope everyone's okay if you're out Cali way. Killer Mike was arrested after the Grammys. We're gonna talk about Gina Carano. Carano? I really like, so on the thumbnail for the YouTube, I made her, fighting the Mickey Mouse. Now, I didn't, like, when I searched a Gina Carano weigh-in, I she looks different. Like, I didn't even realize it was her. They don't look like the same person to me. And I'm also really proud of this one. Not only did I giggle my ass off about the helicopter crashing in the background, but, like, Drake's dick is behind the content warning. Yeah, that's what you all came for, right? We just need to talk about Drake's dick. Apparently that's what everyone's into right now. Drake's dick. Oh, fucking shit. I didn't know. I learned about it all from memes. But for some reason, every female that I talked to had seen it. Like, every female that I discussed it with had definitely seen Drake's dick. Sparkles was like, do you want me to send you the video? I have it. Anyway, let's talk about the Republican cock in Nevada tonight.
Republicans are heading to the caucuses in Nevada to make their votes count as well.
The primary election was on Tuesday, but only the votes in tonight's GOP caucus will matter in choosing the next presidential nominee. Sunny Sai tells us why that is. Hey, Sunny.
Should I have done the election graphics tonight? Did I fuck up?
Hi, Terrence and Sylvia. The state replaced the caucuses with a primary a few years ago, but the Republican
The cock is floppy.
happy about that. So they decided they'll keep doing caucuses and give all their delegates to the winner. That means if former President Donald Trump wins the contest tonight, in which he is the only major candidate on the ballot, then he will take all of the state's 26 delegates. Nikki Haley lost in the primary election on Tuesday, but even a win wouldn't have gotten her any delegates. Tonight's meetings run from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Who's Binkley?
Have to stay the whole time. One politics expert from UNLV tells Fox that the Nevada GOP chose the caucuses to boost support for Trump.
They were very interested in trying to limit the voter pool as much as possible to people who are sort of hardcore Trump supporters, to limit the ability of independents and crossover voters to participate, because Trump is the weakest in those categories. So they wanted something that would sort of
he looked like an AI candidate.
Incredibly enthusiastic, sort of diehard.
Any delegates.
That looks like an AI generated man. Remember that beer commercial we watched? He was in it. That's where he came from. She seems cool. I'd have a glass of wine with her.
You live in sexual anarchy?
So in the Nevada primary that took place, I guess I should have done a stream on Tuesday night, or was it Wednesday night? I don't even know anymore. Ah shit, it's the wrong video. Hold on. There really is like a cut and paste glitch. Nikki Haley is calling the Republican primary in Nevada a scam.
Candidate Nikki Haley is holding a rally in Hollywood tonight after this meet and greet in Costa Mesa this morning. She's raising nearly $1 million in a two-day fundraising swing here in California. Last night, Haley lost the Nevada primary to, quote, none of these candidates. Trump wasn't on the ballot, and the primary doesn't count for any delegates. Yet, it has led to some Trump supporters mocking her online for losing to no one. I asked her about it today in an exclusive one-on-one. Does that situation in Nevada hurt a little bit?
No, I mean, Nevada, it's such a scam. They were supposed to have a primary. Trump rigged it so that the GOP chairman, who's been indicted, would go and create a caucus. We knew months ago that we weren't going to spend a day or a dollar in Nevada because it wasn't worth it. And so we didn't even count Nevada. That wasn't anything we were looking at. We knew that was rigged from the start. Our focus is on South Carolina, Michigan, Super Tuesday. So if you look what we did in Iowa and you look what we did in New Hampshire, we're continuing to grow. That's what matters, I think, more than anything else. But look at what happened this week. Here you have Republicans lost a major vote on the border. Republicans lost a major vote on Israel. Donald Trump was found that he will not have immunity in all of these court cases coming up. The RNC chair is fired. All of this chaos is happening around us. And
wait, is that official? Is that like I thought that was just like rumored to be happening? Has Ronna McDonald? That's not her name. Ronna McDaniel. Ronna McDonald. Has she been fired?
Donald Trump's fingerprints are on every bit of it. We can't continue as the Republican Party to go forward with this chaos. You don't defeat Democrat chaos with Republican chaos. And that's why we've got to see a change.
Yeah, I don't think that she has officially stepped down. Oh, you say it's as of this afternoon? It says she's offered to step down and that Trump says she should step down, but nothing says that she did step down. And she told Trump that she would resign. And then didn't a report come out about how they fucked all their spending up? Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about her officially being out. But that has been like every Republican has said that for the last week, maybe longer. They've all been like, Ronna McDaniel should resign. She needs to be out at the RNC. Every single one of them in lockstep. So it's only a matter of time, right? Meanwhile, over in the House, yeah, I think it's gonna be a done deal. It just isn't a done deal yet. I think we are on the precipice, on the cusp of a Ronna McDonald ouster. House Republicans yesterday, this was yesterday, they're promoting a resolution stating that Trump did not engage in an insurrection on January 6th.
Thank you.
This is Representative Eli Crane.
Thanks for coming. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Okay, it wasn't Eli Crane the name for the Scarecrow in Batman? Dr. Eli Crane? This guy is like not my idea of a scarecrow, but I can see he could pull it off. He's got kind of like a Russell Crowe-esque quality here.
And Ms. Stefanik for leading on this. You know what I love about this? Watching where President Trump is at in the polls. I love it because it shows the American people don't trust you guys. And they shouldn't, because you guys are full of it and everybody knows it. There's a few honest journalists in this town, but they're very few and far between. You know how I know it wasn't an insurrection? Because he hasn't been charged with insurrection. And we can all see by the lawfare how he's facing up over 7
They love that word.
In jail right now, how they've tried to destroy this man, destroy his businesses, that if they felt they had an inkling of a chance of convicting President Trump of jaywalking or insurrection, they would absolutely charge him. You know how else I know it's not an insurrection? Because this is the first insurrection in the history of the world where the people that were a part of it were unarmed. Pretty hard to do if you walk around and see individuals are carrying.
There were arms.
All right.
And
last thing I want to say about how I know
there's
it's
a
not
plot
an
to get
insurrection is
arms
actually
in.
listen to the words of the president. If you're trying to stoke an insurrection, you don't tell the people listening, hey, I want you to go over there peacefully and patriotically. All right? This is not an insurrection. What it is a party.
You do say that if you're saying it with like a wink wink.
And he's shown time and time again he's willing to bust up the swamp, and he continues to beat you like a drum.
A guy did fatally tase his balls.
And for all you journalists out there,
that is a thing that happened.
Some in this room right now, you don't have the balls to write the truth, and even if you did, your publishers wouldn't publish it because you're a part of a propaganda outlet, probably one of the biggest in the history of the world. If you had any courage, I want you to ask some questions about that day, January 6th, that we keep talking about. Why has the pipe bomber not been caught yet?
That is a very good question. I'm down with that.
Why has the pipe bomber not been caught? The one individual that could have committed multiple mass casualties has not been caught yet.
This is Representative Eli Crane.
Go follow some of Bitey's reporting over at Revolver News. He's got some evidence for you guys. What's going on up here with January 6th is there's a pretty big cover-up actually going on up here in Capitol Hill about some of the involvement of our government, and it's quite unsavory. And I want to acknowledge
the fucking president was involved,
and others who have been trying to get to the bottom of it. But here's some other questions for you journalists to ask. Why did it take so long for Ray Epps to be charged? Go watch videos of Ray Epps on that day and how he was stoking the entire thing and how long it took him to be charged. And yet there were so many people that were brought into the DC jail, and they're still
I don't think so clinically, but I might be wrong on that.
Ask some questions. Those are some questions. But
I don't think they were operable.
Trump did not commit insurrection, and he's probably going to be the president of the United States.
Like an idiot made
So
them.
I'm happy to be a part of this resolution. I'm happy to support the president, and I'm happy to call out all you little cowardly liars in the press. Thank you. I want to now welcome my friend Harriet Hageman to come up.
Yeah, I think they were real bombs, but an idiot made them and they didn't work. And which checks out, right? That's what we're talking about now. We're talking about the insurrection. The oral arguments were heard in front of the Supreme Court earlier today about the 14th Amendment challenge to Trump being on the ballot in Colorado. Did not go well for the Colorado Attorney General, apparently.
At Robert Costa. Robert, you've been following all of this alongside us. So, former President Trump made comments earlier.
He certainly did have the leopard eat his face.
The Supreme Court's arguments today, more of a campaign speech. Let's play that first, and then I want to get some of your reactions on the other side.
In watching the Supreme Court today, I thought it's a very beautiful process. I hope that democracy in this country will continue, because right now we have a very, very tough situation with all of the radical left ideas, with the weaponization of politics. They weaponize it like it's never been weaponized before. It's totally illegal, but they do it anyway, and it has to stop.
So not a lot of specifics about what we heard in court today, but a lot of what you have heard covering the former president out on the campaign trail. The other thing that he said was that he reinforced this idea that we all heard when we covered him on the campaign trail the last time about the rest of the world laughing at us. What do you make of how this is affecting him on the campaign trail?
It's good to be with you. First, it should be noted that former President Trump's claim that the Justice Department is being, quote, weaponized against him is not backed up by any evidence. The Justice Department is proceeding with a special counsel investigation and a looming federal trial about his alleged conduct in and around January 6th, saying the former president engaged in what Jack Smith is calling a criminal scheme to try to keep Trump in power. Despite that trial, despite what happened today at the Supreme Court and so many other issues facing the former president, from a hush money payments trial in New York scheduled to begin in March, to a possible trial in Georgia, to the civil fraud trial in New York, among many other issues, he continues to plow forward in the Republican presidential race. In his remarks today at his residence, he did not even address his opponent, Nikki Haley, the former ambassador, by name. He believes, based on my conversations with many of his top allies, that all of this could fuel his campaign, help him cement the Republican presidential nomination, and he will continue to run against President
He has cemented
his expected
the nomination.
opponent, should he sew up that nomination, as someone who is, in his words, using the Justice Department against him to try to fend off any kind of claim that he actually has to have scrutiny about what happened on January 6th. In a primary, his advisors and many Republicans tell me that's good politics. The question for him politically is whether that's good politics in a general election. President Biden has been focusing on January 6th and what he calls the MAGA movement as an extreme movement in the United States backing the former president. So all these issues are legal. They are also political.
I thought you were trying to say tails.
As we move forward now, what's interesting
like
is
the motherfuckers got tails.
The financial penalties against Trump continue to stack up. One case you didn't mention was the defamation trial he lost here in New York, where he was found to now need to pay more than $80 million to the writer E. Jean Carroll. In the civil judgment, a judge just needs to decide what the financial penalty is. It's expected to be beyond $100 million. And while he's
Juzor
by the Supreme
Welcome, Juzor, my friend. We are glad to have you here. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh at your name. I'm laughing at me saying it. That's what I'm finding amusing here. Since you're new here, you might want a summation of my political leanings. I'm pretty malleable, actually. I would do whatever it takes to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. So whatever political leanings allow me to get to that goal is what I'm gonna do. Give me that eye pussy, sir. It's been a long time. Okay. We're pro pissing in eyes. And I love the fact that anytime you guys see anybody with a, oh, you joined back in the day. Well, welcome back in, Juzor. I'm sorry. I'm amused tonight. I'm kind of high. What are they talking about? The defamation case. That isn't that over with now? Didn't the jury already slap him with $83 million?
Court's questions this morning and mid-afternoon, they did not debate whether or not he participated in an insurrection. So to your point that in the primaries it's great for his base, but how might that play in a general election? I'm wondering if all this baggage.
Oh no, it's all good. Don't apologize.
When it comes to the general election.
Errol, it's an excellent point, and you had terrific coverage yourself and reporting on the E. Jean Carroll case.
No. I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to too. Thank you. Rest in peace, Ms. Hedberg.
In New York, I remember following your reports outside of that courtroom, and that brought the issue of the allegation of rape and his liability in that case with E. Jean Carroll on a civil level to the forefront of the national conversation. And for most candidates, talking about that particular issue is not a winner politically, especially if they're trying to appeal to women and to voters nationwide who might...
Libertad, I've always kind of been under the assumption that you might be a bird. That you are some bird-like creature. Oh, that you would want to shit in Donnie's hair. Juzor was a caller back in November. What was the topic? Were you the guy that argued with me about the Beatles and Drake? Cause that would be really fucking weird. Cause I just told a female. That's weird that I say. I told a lady in my life about a conversation I had with somebody. And I want to say that was around November. Did you argue with me about Drake and the Beatles? What stolen election? When was there a stolen election? What was it the Ecuadorian president? I was trying to look and see, is anybody raising any questions about the Ecuadorian president's victory? I say I don't keep up with the news, yet I pull shit like that out. Politically stolen election, fair enough. I mean, that was kind of what was the insurrection was what was on tap for the Supreme Court earlier today. We will get their decision. I don't honestly know. They could drop it at any time. They tend to drop all their decisions at the end of their term. However, this is an unusual case, so whether they will drop their decision later this week, next week, something like that is very much a possibility instead of waiting till the end of the term. So, who knows? I will tell you that I will highly recommend washing your ass.
Life is too short to walk this earth for a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
Okay, you had me worried there for a second, my good Jewy friend. Can I say that? Is that racist? Is that gonna go in the Cancel Justin Discord? Somebody I would assume that really doesn't like Jews. That's a horrible transition. Why would I do that? Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana. I'm slap happy tonight.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth.
I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
I can say that? Like you're giving me like N-word privileges. You're giving me the Jew word privilege. Please, there's a Facebook group. DJ Tub, there's a Facebook group I'm in. Please come in and tell this guy he's a raging Zionist. He's one of those dual citizenship guys. And boy, does he calls me a racist and a Jew hater. An anti-Semite, and I'm like, I have never said anything remotely anti-Semitic. Criticizing the actions of Israel. I said Israel was fascist. Sparkle. Oh my God. I said Israel was fascist, and he said Israel is not fascist. They just have a fascist government. The worst audiobook audition ever. I love you guys so much. All right, here's you. Let's see if Kennedy. Let's see if Kennedy can get replaced on the board with a whole nother sound drop during this contentious hearing in the Senate Judiciary Committee. I believe it's him and Sheldon Whitehouse.
Congratulations, Stalin. Judge Dubose. Am I saying your name right?
That's correct, Senator.
Okay. We don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to be direct. I think most of my questions are designed to be yes or no. Are you still a Marxist?
Thank you for the question, Senator.
You don't have to thank me. We'll say you are welcome.
I am not, nor have ever been a Marxist.
Well, you gave an interview in 2000 to the feminist press. In fact, you didn't turn it over to us. We had to ask for it. We found it on our own. And you then turned it over to us. And this is what you were describing your time working in a coffee shop. You said, quote, the kids would come into the cafe all the time. We'd talk about what they're doing. We'd talk about their classes. And I was in my Marxist phase. So you used to be a Marxist, but you're not now?
No, Senator, if I may. The context of the first of that interview, I had no idea that interview was something that was going to be published. I did an interview with the...
Did you mean what you said, whether it was published or not, or whether we find it? Trying to understand what...
Black lady that says she's a Marxist, possibly, maybe.
My Marxist phase.
Thank you, Senator.
Still in your Marxist phase, or was that in the past?
No, Senator, if I may explain.
Sure.
I was a political science major. When I graduated from college, I immersed myself in a ton of political theory. I read Hobbes, I read Locke, I read Rousseau, I read Marx.
As you
I went
should.
through a phase where I was into Eastern religion, where I read the Tao Te Ching, the Analects of Confucius. So I suspect, and I don't know that quote with the article, I don't know if she was referring to what I was studying at the time, but as a political science major and as a theorist and someone who was considering teaching a course in political theory, I immersed myself in those things.
But she didn't refer to you.
I like her.
She meaning, I assume you're referring to the reporter who interviewed. These are your words, and you didn't say I'm in my Hobbes phase. You didn't say, second, I'm in my Locke phase. You didn't say I'm in my Rousseau phase. You said I was in my Marxist phase, and my question is...
Was implies past.
Marxist.
Senator, I've never been a Marxist, and I'm not a Marxist today.
Okay. All right. Have you ever served as lead counsel?
Locke's all right. He's got some good ideas.
No, Senator. With my experience as both a state prosecutor, as an in-house
have a little
counsel,
personal liberty in there.
doing very complex compliance and regulatory work, and my work as a district court sitting judge, handling general jurisdiction.
Yes, ma'am. I've read your resume. I just want to get through these questions. Have you ever served as lead counsel in federal jury trial?
No, Senator, I have not.
Okay. Have you ever attended a federal jury trial?
No,
watched
Senator.
it live?
No. No, Senator.
Have you ever watched a federal jury trial on TV?
I don't believe that federal trials are televised, so no, I have not, Senator.
Have you ever
The trick
watched any
question?
trial on television?
Senator, I handle and preside over trials every single day as a state district court judge. We follow the rules of evidence, criminal procedure, civil procedure. So I feel that with my experience, that I am well suited and capable to make the transition from our state district court to our U.S. district court.
Okay. When you were practicing law, did you ever draft a
I hate this man.
Applying the federal rules of evidence?
Looks like
No,
a
Senator,
grandma.
As a state prosecutor.
I'm sorry, you said what?
I said no, Senator.
No, okay. When you were practicing law, did you ever draft a motion or a brief applying the federal rules of civil procedure?
Well, I believe that there were times at Schneider Electric giving advice to business units regarding the federal acquisition regulations, that I would draft briefs to give them counsel as to how to be compliant with the federal rules. So in that respect, the answer would be yes.
Okay. What's an interpleader action?
Interpleader action is a third party who's going to intervene in a civil suit. They're not a primary party.
Dumped me on that one.
What's voir dire?
Voir dire is the process with which jurors are questioned by the state and by defense and prosecutors to serve on a
Have
panel.
you ever conducted a voir dire in federal court?
Not in federal court.
Okay. I'm going to yield back 6 seconds, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Whitehouse.
Just to clarify the record, Judge Dubose, do you recall when that interview was done, the interview that Senator Kennedy referred to?
No, Senator, I don't. And if I recall, and I was brought to my attention yesterday, that was never an interview that I did that I thought was going to be published. I never reviewed it.
Some college newspapers and shit.
Who was interested in teaching, who spent 20
What
minutes.
were you doing at the time?
I was teaching.
So this was before you even went to law school. This was
Yeah, I was it was really early.
many years ago.
It was, Senator.
Perhaps during the time when my colleague Senator Kennedy was a Democrat. Showing that people can change their views, even if it were true that you were then in a Marxist phase.
Senator Graham.
Mr. Chairman, my name was invoked.
I noticed.
As a proud Democrat, we were like
My
that part of
name
your
was
history.
invoked, Mr. Chairman. Now, I just want to let the record reflect, and I love Senator Whitehouse.
Uh-oh.
But I'll tell you one thing, I've never been a Marxist.
Whoa, he loves Senator Whitehouse. That sounded a little too friendly to me.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
He's never been a Marxist.
Proud Democrat. We were like
My
that part of
name
your
was
history.
invoked, Mr. Chairman. Now, I just want to let the record reflect, and I love Senator Whitehouse.
Uh-oh.
But I'll tell you one thing, I've never been a Marxist. I've never been a Marxist.
Wow.
And I've never admitted I was a Marxist and then not turned the doc.
That he thought that was gonna be like a mic drop moment. And he was gonna get a fucking laugh out of the room. My God, how embarrassing!
That you were then in a Marxist phase.
Senator Graham.
Mr. Chairman, my name was invoked.
I noticed.
See, that got a laugh.
We were like
My
that part
name
of your
was
history.
invoked, Mr. Chairman. Now, I just want to let the record reflect, and I love Senator Whitehouse.
Uh-oh.
But I'll tell you one thing, I've never been a Marxist. I've never been a Marxist. And I've never admitted I was a Marxist and then not turned the document over to this committee. We had to find it.
That was embarrassing.
And we did. And now your testimony, the testimony under oath today is, I didn't say that. The reporter said that. No, the witness said that. And then the testimony is, well, I didn't mean it to become public. That's not the issue. So, you know, if we won't get personal here, we can.
Senator Graham.
Thank you. Let's agree on the following.
Oh God, we got Lindsey Graham in on this.
But The bottom line is, why wasn't it available to the committee, Mr. Bell?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I had no idea that the article existed. When I did the interview with that undergrad student, it was for a paper for a class.
It's something you didn't know about.
I was in an interview with a young lady who was interested in teaching as an undergrad, and I was just sharing my transition, how I went to be into teaching.
I understand. Your testimony is this is not something I've...
These bitches went and dug up some fucking college newsletter from like a goddamn lit department or some shit. What the fuck? That's absurd.
Seen before. Had you seen it before?
No, Senator.
Okay, so if you hadn't seen it, you didn't know about it, so that's why you didn't turn it over.
That's correct.
Okay, just make sure that. Mr.
As part of committee rules.
Yes, Senator.
You were head of the MacArthur or Associated MacArthur Justice Center, is that?
Lindsey Graham sounded like he was having indigestion or some shit. Pull out high school love letters next. Well, I mean, during the Kavanaugh hearings, we did get some fucking shit like that, didn't we? While we're on the topic of the Senate, let's talk about funding for Ukraine and Israel. Foreign aid package passes the Senate.
On this vote, the yeas are 67, the nays are 32. 3/5 of the Senate duly chosen and sworn, having voted in the affirmative, the motion upon reconsideration is agreed to.
Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, could we have some order, please?
Cookie Boy Schumer.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, it's a very good thing that the Senate has just voted to proceed to the National Security Supplemental. This is a good first step. This bill is essential for our national security, for the security of our friends in Ukraine, in Israel, for humanitarian aid for innocent civilians in Gaza, and for Taiwan. The bill also strengthens our military at a time when they need it most. Failure to pass this bill would only embolden autocrats like Putin and Xi, who want nothing more.
Fuck off.
America's decline.
Embolden autocrats like Putin and Xi. Flinging money everywhere. Meanwhile, Ukraine with an interesting shakeup. Zelensky firing the top general, completely changing military strategy.
Another Russian rocket attack. This one on the frontline village of Selidove in Donetsk overnight. The Ukrainians are on the defensive, running out of anti-aircraft shells and short of most ammunition, unable to move forward. So is this the right time to change Commander-in-Chief? President Zelensky has decided it is.
I am grateful to General Zaluzhny for 2 years of defense. I am grateful for every victory we have achieved together, and thank all Ukrainian soldiers who are heroically enduring this war. Today, we had a frank discussion about what needs to be changed in the army. Urgent changes.
Tension between the president and General Zaluzhny has grown. The general angered the president by saying the war was at a stalemate, which was true. Then he said they needed to mobilize 500,000 new troops, which the president said was impossible.
So basically, this motherfucker is hitting Zelensky with the truth. And Zelensky is saying, I don't like the truth. I don't like where this is going. I've said it the entire time. I don't trust this Zelensky feller.
But maybe most importantly, Zaluzhny, who often attends soldiers' funerals, had been building up his own popular base. The two men had become rivals.
Afraid of a military coup.
Zaluzhny is especially popular amongst the rank and file, struggling to hold the line in the face of greater Russian firepower. not least because they agree with him about the need for rapid, immediate, large mobilization.
I think this dismissal would not be appropriate now, because in the field of battle, you do not change commanders.
The mobilization is necessary because we don't have enough people. The enemy has a great advantage over us in the number of soldiers.
New recruits training last month. Zaluzhny is surely right about the need for far more, but Zelensky says there's not enough money to pay and train such a large intake, and Ukraine's Western backers aren't providing enough weapons for them to use. So can the new commander-in-chief, General Alexander Syrsky, trained in Soviet times, make a difference? As ground forces commander, he led the defense of Kyiv, but he doesn't have his predecessor's popular appeal. Soldiers say he kept them under fire for too long in the Battle of Bakhmut, but he has the president's trust.
Okay, maybe he does it without his helmet.
Earlier this week, President Zelensky visited troops near the front line. The Europeans and Americans are nervous that his shake-up of the armed forces is a gamble. But Zelensky doesn't want to take lessons from those who are failing to provide the weapons Ukraine needs. Soldiers are proud to receive medals, but Ukraine needs victory, and it's hard to see a change in command will deliver that.
I don't think things are going too well for Ukraine. I'm gonna skip how long is this? We watched Biden earlier respond to the special counsel's report. Yeah, I don't want to watch this. Let's move on down to Alan Weisselberg apparently perjured himself. Get this one. Remember, Weisselberg testified in the fraud trial that's currently ongoing in Manhattan, right? The judge Ergon or whatever the fuck. That's the one with Elena Haba, where she did a horrible fucking job. Well, Weisselberg testified back in October, and apparently he didn't tell the truth. And the DA is going to bring perjury charges against him.
How are you feeling today?
This is footage from back in October.
Excuse me, we're going to go this way.
Quite possibly the day he perjured himself. That was the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. The man you would know, the man who should know exactly where all the bodies are buried. The AP's not even going to tell us the story. What the hell? Just going to show us the footage from back in October. Well, I told you.
Front row right now?
There are no perjury charges officially. There's a report that has been issued. Alvin Bragg's office is in the process of bringing perjury charges against Weisselberg. Weisselberg has already served, I think it was 100 days in jail. Perjury could result in additional jail time for Mr. Weisselberg. Prosecutors weigh perjury charge for ex-Trump CFO Weisselberg. Do we have more details? God damn it! Alan Weisselberg, who had been the longtime chief financial officer of the Trump Organization, testified for 2 days at the trial, answering questions about allegations that Trump lied about his wealth on financial statements given to banks and insurance companies. It wasn't clear what part of Weisselberg's testimony drew the scrutiny of prosecutors in the office of Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. The decision on charging Weisselberg didn't appear imminent. Bragg's office was in the preliminary stages of discussions internally and with Weisselberg's legal team. They may not necessarily lead to a criminal charge. The people were not authorized to speak publicly and did so on condition of anonymity. News of a potential perjury charge was first reported by the New York Times. Messages seeking comment were left for Weisselberg's lawyers. Bragg's office declined to comment. The New York Attorney General Letitia James's office, who brought the civil suit, also declined to comment. Weisselberg served 100 days in jail for dodging taxes on $1.7 million in off-the-books compensation. A new charge with the threat of more jail time would upend the 76-year-old's Florida retirement. Trump's former CFO. Now let's go to one of Trump's close associates while he was in the White House. Peter Navarro is going to be heading to prison. How about that? Ex-Trump aide Peter Navarro must report to prison for contempt of Congress. A judge has ruled. Federal judge on Thursday rejected Trump White House official Peter Navarro's request to remain out of prison while appealing his contempt of Congress conviction, ordering Navarro to begin his 4-month prison sentence. This is for defying a January 6th committee subpoena. U.S. District Judge Amit Mehta said in a court filing, Navarro shall report to the designated Bureau of Prisons facility on the date the Bureau orders, unless the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals vacates the decision. The order did not specify where or when Navarro must report. The court filing, Mehta said Navarro has shown no actual proof to support one of its claims that the prosecution was motivated by political bias. Mehta sentenced Navarro to 4 months in prison along with a $9,500 fine on January 25th on 2 counts of contempt of Congress. This is refusing to comply with a subpoena from the January 6th committee. Only 4 months indeed. John Irving and Stanley Woodward, lawyers on Navarro's legal team, did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Steve Bannon was the first former Trump aide to be convicted for contempt of Congress. He's out on appeal, though, isn't he? He was sentenced in October of 2022. Currently appealing his conviction. The House also found former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and Trump social media director Dan Scavino in contempt of Congress. Dan Scavino, currently on Trump's re-election campaign. The Justice Department did not pursue indictments against them, though. There is like crazy banjo music. And I had it turned down for you guys, but it is still blaring in my headphones. I expected we'd get a clip of Navarro giving one of his awesome speeches. But alas, we did not. We got a jaunty guitar swing number. Tones knew exactly what it was. I don't know what the point is of putting one of these videos like this. I can understand doing just text and music with a reel. But why would you do it as a full screen YouTube video? Trump pardoned Bannon, but this was for January 6th, wasn't it? Like he's appealing his conviction for contempt of Congress for January 6th. I mean, I totally understand, because, like, if you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, it's a good possibility you don't have the volume on. So I can understand just a video that stands alone without any kind of audio, and then you put the music on there for people that have the audio. I don't know. Don't ask me. Fox News did not put this up on their YouTube. I had to go to Twitter to find the actual. They did the story now. Well, because let me clarify. You're going to see the original broadcast, because this happened live on Fox News. This criminal incident happened on Fox News during Sean Hannity's program. Now, if you go to their YouTube channel, which I did, you will find them doing the story like earlier today with their news team and using a lot different language. Is that grammatically correct? Their language is quite different from what from how Sean Hannity described the incident while it was happening. So he is interviewing the Guardian Angels, a group of vigilantes.
All right, earlier in the show with our interview with Curtis Sliwa, members of the Guardian Angels apprehended a man right there in Times Square in New York City. Curtis, we couldn't exactly see what was going on. What was happening in front of you while you were...
Oh, by the way, content warning.
We're on the air with us.
Well, he had been shoplifting first. The Guardian Angels spotted him, stopped him. He resisted. And let's just say we gave him a little pain compliance. His mother back in Venezuela felt the vibrations. He's sucking concrete. The cops scraped him off the asphalt. He's on his way to jail, but they'll cut him loose. We got to take 42nd Street back, Sean. These illegals think they own this street. They think they rule the night. This is our country. If they can't abide by the rules, then we're going to kick them back from where they came.
You know, and it's amazing because I've been out with you on the streets of New York. I've been in Times Square with you. Police are very appreciative of the support you and the Guardian Angels offer them.
Yes, Sean, but unfortunately they've been told hands off. Well, guess what? We don't keep our hands off. You shoplift, you commit crime, you assault people, you don't belong in our country, and we're going to make sure you pay a price for that. We got to fight for what we know is right, and you saw a little bit of this. They got a little bit of taste of what the Guardian Angels are going to do to liberate Times Square from them.
Wow, right? Wow, especially when I lay this one on you. Not only was he not illegal, he wasn't shoplifting. Apparently, they just beat an innocent man up. I shouldn't laugh. As Sean Hannity, I'm like, I gotta go to the other browser. This fucking YouTube having the ad blocker thing going on is really fucking me up. As Sean Hannity was interviewing the founder of the Guardian Angels, a New York City-based vigilante group known for targeting immigrants, an off-screen disturbance took place and the camera panned to show group members confronting an unidentified man, pushing him to the sidewalk and placing him in a headlock. The bizarre incident played out Tuesday night during the primetime segment on Fox News meant to highlight alleged disorder and crime Hannity claimed was caused by asylum seekers arriving in New York City. Curtis Sliwa, the Guardian Angels founder, proclaimed, "In fact, our guys have just taken down one of the migrant guys at the corner of 42nd. They've taken over," he said. While the disturbing altercation played out on national television, Hannity blasted Democrats for the surge of Joe Biden's unvetted illegals in New York, and that could be because the so-called border czar is a little distracted right now, alluding to Vice President Kamala Harris. According to a New York Police Department spokesperson, officers arrived to find a man detained by bystanders after he allegedly tried to disrupt a live interview. Police said the man had been issued a disorderly conduct summons because he'd been acting in a loud and threatening manner on a public sidewalk. So were the guardian angels. The spokesperson did not respond to questions about whether any members of the Guardian Angels were under investigation for their role in the altercation. The incident came after a brawl in Times Square between police and a group of people generated waves of backlash against the city's asylum seekers. Some advocates for immigrants have blamed local officials and the police department for stoking fears of a migrant crime wave, even as the city's crime rate remains largely unchanged since the arrival of tens of thousands of asylum seekers. By the way, you guys would not believe, you probably would. If you spend enough time online, you probably would. How many people in just the last week alone have told me that crime is at an all-time high? Which, by the way, is not true. Crime at historical lows. Yet again, in an interview with the Associated Press, Slira said he had believed the man was a migrant because he had been speaking Spanish. Because other guardian angels had encountered him with other Spanish speakers on previous patrols. He just admitted to racially profiling the guy. He was put down so he wouldn't hurt himself or anyone else. Said Slira, who has admitted in the past that he has fabricated stories of criminal behavior to sensationalize the issue of immigration. Yeah, and that's who Sean Hannity had on his show. Not illegal. Not a shoplifter. Even if he was a shoplifter, it wasn't their place to do anything like that. Right-wingers are morons. Old habits are hard to break. Oh, shit. Crime is low. However, we are in the crime section. You see how it slowly transitioned from politics to crime? There was a lot of crime and politics stories. It was easy to make the transition. But we're now fully in the crime section of the show. And for this one, I'm gonna have to hit you with the content warning. If you don't like the more sensational stories that we do here on the show, come back in 10 minutes. Only got a couple of them. But this one's a doozy. Holy shit. We've got both a shooter and a fire happening in Philly. The remains of 3 people recovered from a home. This happened earlier today.
Yeah, I'm devastated. 2 police officers are shot outside a Delaware County home that then went up in flames.
It was out of control.
The injured were pulled to safety by their fellow officers and are now recovering. Now a difficult search is underway for a family feared to have been inside the East Lansdowne home when it burned to the ground.
It's going to take hours. It might even take days.
Hello and good evening, everyone. I'm Yuki Washington.
I'm Jessica Cartalia. We have been gathering more information on this investigation all day. The Delaware County District Attorney says the Lee family was living in that home on Lewis Street.
DA Jack Stolzheimer says investigators recovered the remains of 3 people this afternoon. 3 more are still missing. The home burned for hours yesterday. Earlier,
that happened yesterday.
Investigators began sifting through the rubble. Chief investigative reporter Joe Holden is at the scene right now with more on these search efforts. Joe?
Yuki and Jessica, good evening to you. Late information from the District Attorney's Office of the 3 remains recovered from this home here.
Never too soon on this show.
2 are adults, the 3rd believed to be that of a child. The District Attorney saying their worst fears have been realized. 24 hours after an active shooter and a raging inferno, distressing new information.
There were 3 bodies found inside the house.
That detail from prosecutors came as it was announced recovery operations will be suspended for the night at the leveled and burned out home on Lewis Avenue in East Lansdowne.
We're a little bit afraid of the walls caving in, so we're going to bring some other equipment out tomorrow morning to try to, I think, brace the building a little more. We don't want people to continue to be down there if we're afraid that they're not safe.
At the scene, the mood growing all the more somber. Federal, state, and local law.
I think that they have not done a good job answering any fucking questions. Is the shooter still alive? Are they hunting? They're not saying an active manhunt, so I assume the shooter is one. As I understand it, he was a shooter and he set fire to the house.
Lawmakers toured the neighborhood and were given an update as people try to wrap their heads around what happened here.
You know, up and down emotionally, and you all were covering it live. So the community and everyone is feeling this, right? We were watching it live as it was happening, and our first responders were on scene, and you could see here, right, we have all levels of government here to support them.
Investigators are still sorting through many details of how things unfolded. While a rifle was recovered, prosecutors say it may never be known who the shooter was, and dental records may be the only way to make positive IDs of the victims. Given prosecutors say it's presumed among the dead are 3 children, State Senator Tim Kearney said state officials have been in contact with the William Penn School District.
We understand that there were 3 children in the house, or 3 children lived there, 1 in elementary school, 1 in middle school, and 1 in high school. On the state level, we've been in contact with the school district and offering whatever we can offer to help them move forward.
And right now, things are quiet at the home behind me, just the headlights of a police vehicle trained on what is left of that burned out and leveled house there. Work will resume once again to find the remains of 3 additional people. The district attorney says once they are able to stabilize the structure and make it safe for his investigators to go back in. For now, we're live in East Lansdowne. Joe Holden, CBS News, Philadelphia.
That's a wild one. Now, here, let me add more to it. They have gotten a statement from the alleged shooter's mother. I don't know if she's actually on camera. They do have a statement.
Oh, the latest developments from East Lansdowne. The Delaware County District Attorney confirmed the remains of 3 people have been recovered from the burned out home following the shootings and fire yesterday afternoon. 3 more are still missing. Earlier, the DA said he believed the 6 missing people were presumed dead. The recovery operation has been suspended for the night. Prosecutors also say they recovered a rifle from the house. Meanwhile, one of the 2 officers who was shot was released from the hospital this afternoon, and both officers are expected to be
fuck him.
We're still trying to piece together exactly what happened leading up to the tragedy.
CBS Philadelphia's Ray Strickland spoke with the mother of the shooter who described what she saw happen inside of that home.
The events that unfolded inside of a home on Lewis Avenue in East Lansdowne are still hard to fathom. And for the woman who says she is the mother of the shooter, it's something Chin Lee could have never imagined. Lee, who did not want to appear on camera, says one of her sons shot 5 other people in her family and then himself. Lee asked her doctor to interpret for her. He details what she says went on inside the home before she and her husband escaped.
Did she tell you how they got out?
No, we don't know. Suddenly it happened so fast, okay? Nobody know what happening. Nobody know what happening. Suddenly he's upset and he used a gun.
Chin Lee says her son, Con Lee, had an argument with his young nephew and then started shooting. Lee says her son shot the boy, 2 other children, and his brother and sister-in-law before he killed himself.
I'm very sad, okay? That's why I try to help her.
And Lee also told me that the family moved here from Vietnam over 40 years ago and has been here in East Lansdowne ever since. She also says her son, Con Lee, was 44 years old, recently divorced and out of work. She also says he had no history of mental illness. Reporting in East Lansdowne, Ray Strickland, CBS News, Philadelphia.
hit the mass shooting? There's a lot of unanswered questions. I guess there was a standoff. He set fire to the house and then shot himself. This is one to keep an eye on now, isn't it? We're gonna have to find out exactly what happened here. Just like over on the West Coast, it's going to take a little while to find out exactly what happened with these 5 Marines that have now been confirmed dead after a helicopter crash. This happened in Pine Valley. The helicopter crashed in Pine Valley.
We are following some breaking news this morning. The 5 Marines who disappeared after a military helicopter crash right near Pine Valley have been confirmed dead.
Fox 5's Elizabeth Alvarez joins us live outside of MCAS Miramar with the newest information. Liz, good morning.
Good morning. Devastating.
Is that her hair or is it part of the hat?
And the military community, the 5 U.S. Marines are confirmed dead. We want to read a quick statement. I want to read you a quick statement that was issued by the major from the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing. He says to the families of our fallen Marines, we send our deepest condolences and commit to ensuring your support and care during this incredibly difficult time. We've learned a few more details as to what happened or what may have happened leading up to this helicopter crash. We know that this military helicopter was headed here to MCAS Miramar. Search crews
did it have something to do with the weather?
Morning in the Pine Valley area, but they are still working now in recovery mode to locate those 5 Marines who were on board. We've got multiple agencies involved in this search, and they are searching in very difficult conditions. You saw that as we brought you this report live yesterday on the air. Not only is there limited access, but that area is muddy, it's steep terrain, it's snowing, and because many of their vehicles have a chance of getting stuck, authorities are also searching on foot. They are using drones and other types of surveillance equipment to help. We do know that the Marines were flying in a CH-53E Super Stallion helicopter, and it was a routine training flight that left Creech Air Force Base, which is in northwest Las Vegas, headed to Miramar. Here is more on what is now a recovery effort.
We're out in a remote area right now. We're in rugged terrain, so they have ropes, any type of first aid equipment, medical equipment that they're going to need to treat any victims that they find. They've got...
They did!
To stay warm in cold weather, so they're fully outfitted and fully prepared.
And so there are many agencies involved in, again, what is now become a recovery effort. That individual you heard from was CAL FIRE PIO, but there is also the Border Patrol, the Sheriff's Department, the Civil Air Patrol, the Forest Service, and of course the Marine Corps leading what is now a recovery of the
Super fucked
Marines who
we're getting ready to talk about that.
That's the very latest from outside of MCAS Miramar, guys. I'll send things back to you.
Liz Alvarez, such sad news this morning. Thanks for that report.
The weather in California has been wild. Could have something to do with climate change. Talk a little bit about climate change here, shall we? Breaking news is we actually came on stream earlier tonight. Famed climate scientist wins $1 million verdict against right-wing bloggers. This case took it was 16, 15, 17 years? Something like, it's a god-awful long time for them to bring this fucking case to trial. And he won it in like no time. Famed climate scientist wins $1 million verdict against right-wing blogger. The verdict comes amid heightened attacks on scientists working on climate change, vaccines, and other issues. That's what I said. It took like 17 years to bring this fucking lawsuit. Oh, it was 2012. That's 12 years. 12 years. I was off. Michael Mann, a prominent climate scientist, won his long-standing legal battle against two right-wing bloggers who claimed that he manipulated data in his research and compared him to convicted child molester Jerry Sandusky. A jury in a civil trial in Washington on Thursday found that the two writers, Rand Simberg and Mark Stein, defamed and injured the researcher in a pair of blog posts published in 2012, and they awarded him more than $1 million. I hope this verdict sends a message that falsely attacking climate scientists is not protected speech. Mann's victory comes amid heightened attacks on scientists working on just climate change, but also on not just on climate change, but also on vaccines and other issues. But the case was one that some critics worried could have a stifling effect on free speech and open debate in science. Inflammatory does not equal defamatory. Victoria Weatherford, an attorney for Simberg, repeatedly told the jury during the trial. They agreed. Your client's comments weren't inflammatory. They were defamatory. The verdict is a dozen years in the making for the climatologist who for decades has been the target of right-wing critics over his famous hockey stick graph. We normally let scientists fight it out amongst themselves to discover what is the truth, said Larissa Ladisky, a defamation expert at the University of Florida. In these science cases, there's a lot of leeway for opinion. It doesn't mean there's carte blanche to lie about the scientist. Early in his career, Mann used data from tree rings, ice cores, and coral reefs to show global temperatures were relatively stable until the Industrial Revolution. But after humans started burning fossil fuels in large quantities, Mann and his colleagues found temperatures spiked over the past century. Today, Mann is one of the most famous climate scientists in the country, having written half a dozen books, appearing on numerous TV shows, and amassing more than 200,000 followers on Twitter. As a public figure, he faced a high bar during the nearly month-long trial to prove his defamation claim. Has it been? I didn't realize it had been a month. It seemed like I just told you guys about it going to trial like last week. My bad. Said that temperatures were relatively stable until the Industrial Revolution. We started burning fossil fuels in large quantities, which resulted in the hottest January on record. Pushes 12-month global average temperatures over 1.5 degree threshold for the first time ever. The world just had its hottest year ever recorded, and 2024 has already set a new heat record for the warmest January ever observed, according to the European Union's climate change monitoring service, Copernicus. Remember, it was just and I feel like I've got like cat hair or something in my nose. I feel like I'm Zizek or some shit, constantly rubbing my face. I think he does it because he's an alcoholic and he's got some shit with his nose or something. Anyway. That's besides the point. It was just a couple of weeks ago that we set a record here where I sit, record low temperature, where it was colder here than it was in the Arctic. I live in the South. If you can't tell by my accent. Colder here than it was in the Arctic. Like 3 days later, we set a record high temperature. That ain't right. And it's felt like summertime for like 2 weeks since. I had the windows are still open. The world just had its hottest year ever recorded in 2024. Has already set a new heat record for the warmest January ever observed. The Copernicus service said that January 2024 had a global average air temperature of 13.14 degrees Celsius or 55.65 degrees Fahrenheit. That temperature was 0.70 degrees Celsius above the 1991 to 2020 average for the month and 0.12 degrees Celsius above the last warmest January in 2020. It was also 1.66 degrees Celsius warmer than the pre-industrial average for the month. I don't know what that means, but it sounds scary. And then somebody's going to get my comment section and is going to be like, see, you're just a corporate Democratic shill. You don't know what it means, but it sounds scary. Yeah. Yeah, science ain't my thing, and it isn't yours either. So stop pretending you know about climate change, you dumb fuck. Not talking to anyone in specific, by the way. And definitely not talking to you guys that are watching this live with me right now. Love you all. I love you all so much. You're getting a special, because I overslept on Sunday and didn't give you a stream. We're gonna do a Valentine's stream. Wednesday, Thursday this coming week. Troll Patrol on a Wednesday again. Valentine's Day. We're gonna do a bullshit show. Bullshit story. I've got all kinds of right-wing bullshit I want to watch. I'm so backed up on it right now, so that's probably what we're gonna do. No hard news. It's Valentine's Day. If you ain't got somebody to fuck, come spend it with me. We'll edge together. Aw, Chainsaw, I do not feel sexy. This is the least sexy I've felt my entire life. It's so goddamn hot in here. The story mentioned it but didn't really focus on it. The world's first year-long breach of a key 1.5. Thank you. I will agree. My eyes are probably my best feature. And that's one of the reasons why I like wearing sunglasses. I don't wear them on stream because, like, my eyes are expressive. I would eye fuck you, Libertad. World leaders promised in 2015 to try to limit the long-term temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is seen as crucial to help avoid the most damaging impacts. This first year-long breach doesn't break that landmark Paris Agreement, but it does bring the world closer to doing so in the long term. Urgent action to cut carbon emissions can still slow warming, scientists say. This far exceeds anything that is acceptable, Professor Sir Bob Watson, a former chair of the UN's climate body, told the BBC. Look what's happened this year with only 1.5 degrees Celsius. We've seen floods, we've seen droughts, we've seen heat waves and wildfires all over the world. The period from February 2023 to January 2024 reached 1.52 degrees Celsius of warming, according to the EU's Copernicus Climate Change Service. Look at that fucking graph. If you wonder about the dips, it's because of like the El Nino and the La Nina periods. And we can see the effects of the warming planet. We can see it fucking everywhere. First, let's go to the San Bernardino Mountains, which are seeing blizzard-like conditions.
San Bernardino Mountains covered in snow this morning after blizzard-like conditions swept through the area overnight.
Officials are reminding...
I'm not a pre-watch Andy. I didn't know she was going to say that.
People to pack your change if you plan to travel up to the mountain today. KTLA's Megan Tellis live in Crestline where they were ready to go.
Yeah.
And in some ways, with the chains at least.
Right.
Yeah. And that wasn't me. I'm dusting off my shoulder, not because I deserve that, but I should be doing it to Chris Jurowski, the photojournalist. Woo! Excuse me. So dry up here. It's taking my voice with it.
What in the fuck is going on this TV station?
He was so prepared that starting at 4,000 feet elevation, which was Rim of the World viewpoint, and this is your warning today, that once you hit that 4,000 feet, they say chains are required unless you're in a four-wheel or all-wheel vehicle. Even in that case, you have to show them that you have chains because just in case you need them, they want to know that you have them. So Caltrans was there. They weren't able to physically help people put the chains on. So they say do know that we can walk you through it, but you should know how to do it if you're coming up to the mountains today. This is Crestline. It looks beautiful. Wow, the sun just poked out. This is gorgeous up here today. Not so gorgeous if you were in the thick of the blizzard last night. Take a look at this video. This was a bit more northeast of where I'm at. This is the Lake Arrowhead area last night. I'm told by locals that because of what you're looking at on your screen now, people sort of snowed in when you go further north of Crestline. So those who work down here, say where I'm in front of Top Town Cafe, a lot of the essential workers who work inside of there, they live further north in Lake Arrowhead. So they weren't able to come to work today, meaning I can't use the restroom inside of this cafe because they are closed. Again, the school district's closed down. We have Bear Valley Unified. We also had Rim of the World Unified School District out of class today. No school, no word on if that's the same case for tomorrow. This next video shows you what the drive looked like.
It is a morning show.
Last night.
It's a little more lax.
I told the storm happened between 8 and 10 p.m. It got really thick around 10 p.m. That's when the wind was blowing. It was thick fog. You can see the windshield wipers there. Luckily, officials were able to get everyone off of Highway 18 and no reports of any injuries at this hour. So that is a bit of good news. I want to show you what it looked like later in the evening into the morning. So this next video will show you 6:30 this morning. This was what it looked like along Highway 18 if you got off at around the depot
This is the mountains of California.
Familiar with that convenience store there, you can see that it's blanketed with snow before the plows came through in the early hours of the morning. Now I know last year was a much different story when it came to conditions at this exact time. I spoke with a couple that was driving right through Crestline on their way to get some food because it's such a beautiful morning, and they had this to say about last night.
Last year, we wouldn't even be here. We would still be stuck in the house under 8 feet of snow. Wow. So at least this time, this is pretty mild. We're able to drive, go have breakfast, and...
He's like, this ain't nothing, bitches.
Enjoy is what he was saying. A lot like Andrew, who's not out here anymore, but he's our friendly firefighter who's from Fontana, works here. He's all cozied up inside now until they get the next call. And he said, luckily, there was not an uptick in the number of calls last night because of the blizzard. He said it was pretty mild. Got to be safe. That was his big thing. Safety first. So we appreciate that.
I'm sorry, I hyped it up as all catastrophic weather and shit. She's like, oh, it's nice. Dude's like, oh, we can go out and have breakfast. Should have seen it last year. It's like 8 feet of snow. Oh, fucking shit. This is part of what is called the, this atmospheric river thing that hit California.
Of a lot of folks here in Southern California, some caught off guard by this severe storm passing through tonight. Many hoping to get the sunshine back. Eyewitness News reporter Michelle Fisher live in Studio City with more on that. Michelle.
Well, Mark, perhaps many of us were fooled today when we saw the sunshine, but it did stop raining here in Studio City at least about an hour or so ago. It's dry right now, but I can tell you it has certainly cooled down a bit too. A lot of people asking tonight, when will the rain finally stop? The latest round of rain moved in fast and furious Wednesday evening. Water pooling along Ventura Boulevard in Studio City as the National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning for parts of LA and Ventura counties.
Los Angelinos get a bad rap for not liking the rain, but I did 5 years in New York. So what I will tell you is I'm tired of the rain.
The downpour meantime catching this couple off guard.
We did not anticipate that it was going to start raining again, which is why we are soaked.
Wednesday afternoon sunshine and clear skies had provided a chance to step outside along Mulholland Drive after several days of nonstop showers.
When it closes down here, it makes it really nice because you can actually walk on.
Show us the puppy!
Which is not something that's notoriously safe to do.
Matt Smiley and
Thank you.
Blue finding the silver lining to a road closure along Mulholland between Skyline and Beaumont due to mud flows and collapsed asphalt beneath the road.
I was gonna be pissed if we were hearing that puppy off camera and they didn't show the fucking puppy.
That's notoriously safe to do.
Matt Smiley and his dog Blue finding the silver lining.
Blue!
Road closure along Mulholland between Skyline and Beaumont due to mud flows and collapsed asphalt beneath the road.
But maybe walking there and having it slide down is probably not the best either.
This resident covered in mud up to her calves after walking through the closure.
Like the roads are not great because of all the rain. Even just driving here today, there's lots of just different potholes and stuff that have opened up. So it's just like people are driving slower.
Yeah, speaking of potholes,
some it's a learning lesson for others.
I'm a science teacher, and I've been talking to my students quite a bit about the way that this is, like why this is happening, and El Nino and all the different atmospheric rivers, and they're shocked by it too.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube.
Shut the fuck up, Mark Brown. No, they do a good job. We watch them semi-regularly. I think I also get copyright claims from them, too. Oh, well. Let's go to a station in Colorado, which is going to explain to us exactly what is going on with this weather system called an atmospheric river.
Dangerous conditions in parts of California after a powerful storm rolled through there. This cliffside collapse happening in Santa Barbara County.
Lots of rain there. Erosion because of the heavy rain causing an apartment building's deck to crack and fall. It displaced 45 people. Now we're learning several people are dead in the wake of that historic storm. At least 6 people dead after LA got more than 7 inches of rain in just 2 days. That's about half of what the city usually gets in a year. The storm triggering nearly 500
God damn!
across Southern California in the last few days.
It came down in once, and then another 2 or 3 times. More mud came down until it just covered the whole entire backyard.
Down trees and utility lines, also knocking out electricity to hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses. And crews are having a tough time trying to recover as the Golden State sees even more rain today. For more on the historic storm, let's turn to Pinpoint weather meteorologist Liz McGiffin. Liz.
Well, I want to start off by first talking about what an atmospheric river is, because by now you've probably heard the term referred to several times. And in many ways, an atmospheric river is pretty similar to a river that you'd see right here in Colorado. An atmospheric river is a large, narrow, continuous band of moisture. The biggest difference is that you'll see it up in the sky and not on the ground. So let's talk about how these atmospheric rivers actually form. Well, they go on a path starting off across the water, and it's a giant band of moisture that we're talking about that you can see on water vapor. We're talking 200 to 400 miles wide. As it starts to push its way inland, naturally, it normally starts to work its way up through the mountains, and then insert the water cycle. We start to see that moisture cool and condense, and it produces rain, or in some cases, if it's cold enough, that rain becomes snow. Now the downside is because we have all of this moisture, atmospheric rivers can produce very heavy snow, heavy rain that leads to flooding, or in some cases like what we've seen over in Colorado, pushing as well into the California area, even mudslides. An example of what's happening with this atmospheric river, well, you can see it right behind me on the satellite and radar. That's why we've been getting round after round of the rain and snow. And for how this atmospheric river is going to continue to impact here in Colorado, I want to pass it over to Chief Meteorologist Dave Frazier.
Was that informative? Because like I might have just been paying attention to her because she was super fucking cute. I'm sorry. My apologies. I got a little sidetracked there. Hopefully that was informative. It seemed like it. Seemed like it was very informative. She was adorable. Justin gonna have to go. Yes, yes. Very much. And she had a lot of personality, right? Like, her charm just came right through the screen. That's some charisma right there. Sorry, I'm give me a titty slap.
A titty slap! Give me those titties,
Come on now.
She pulled a donut out of her ass one night. She had like snacks in her ass, like inside her underwear. And she like just pulled out her, like during a match, like just pulled out snacks. Started eating them. The woman that said the thing about the titty slap. All right, focus. Yeah, we got news. Find out what that news be doing. The Grammys. Ass snacks, indeed. Especially, like, if you'd seen her ass. Like, she has an amazing ass. The woman knows it. She very much knows it. The Grammys, speaking of amazing asses, I tried to make that transition, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't connect it to something because I didn't even watch the Grammys, so I couldn't think of it. I tried to go watch the musical performances, but apparently they don't put those motherfuckers up. They give you like a minute and a half of it. I don't want to watch a minute and a half of fucking musical. I don't want to watch the whole goddamn thing. So I guess if I want to watch all the musical performances, I'll have to goddamn download it. Skip through all the fucking bullshit I don't give a shit about. I just want to go to YouTube, have a fucking playlist, watch the Grammy performances. Have it on in the background while I fucking sweep the floor. Sorry, went off on a little rant there. Anyway, the Grammys. I don't even know who the other performers were. All everybody's fucking talking about. Goddamn Fast Car. Oh, I got a meme for that. Hold on. I didn't get to use it. This certainly would have been the meme of the day when it happened the other day. Freedom, good evening. Luke Combs plays Fast Car with a queer person of color. And then what happened to Toby Keith 2 days later? Yuck, 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 yuck. Yeah, that weather lady, if she had been hosting the Grammys, I would have been fucking right there watching the whole Rest in peace, Toby Keith. I don't know why I'm just yeah, they did Fast Car. Apparently, okay, so this is Luke Combs. He's a country artist. Apparently, he covered the song, and because he covered it, like, Tracy Chapman has had like a resurgence in her career. And I've had like a Mandela effect kind of shit going on, cause I thought that song came out in like 94. Am I wrong? Or did it just chart again in 94? But then I looked it up, and like I can't find any reference of it charting in 94 for any reason. I was like, oh, maybe it was in a movie or something and blah, blah, blah. Couldn't find any fucking indication that this ever happened. But I thought this song came out when I was like a wee little tyke. But it came out when I was a wee little tyke. And I wouldn't have remembered it from 1988. We didn't have MTV. I didn't have music videos. I did not have access to that world until VH1 MTV was given to me around 93 maybe. It became available on our cable package. And then around 95 or 96 we got satellite. And fucking everything after that. I'm just Mandela-ing. It may have just been that like I just heard it for the first time. They were playing it on VH1 or some shit, because that seems like a pretty VH1 kind of song. Yeah, well, like yeah. That like kind of cyclical kind of thing going on, and then like VH1 is like an adult contemporary channel. But I always thought it came out in the 90s. It was like 88. So Luke Combs, this country singer, covers it. And then this is Tracy Chapman's first performance in like a decade or something like that. It might be longer. She had basically retired, and apparently it's really, really good. I don't know. I can't tell you. It's not on YouTube. You can go watch like a minute of it. Yeah, and apparently, like, it was like people have talked about like how this isn't appropriate. This is the like gold standard of how you avoid appropriation. He's like paying tribute to her, and they like the way they performed together was like he paid reverence to her and everything. But I don't know because it's not on YouTube. Toby Keith died. So like other than his like nationalistic bullshit that he's associated with, I don't really have a problem with Toby Keith. Like, yeah, fuck the nationalistic boot in your ass motherfucking shit, but like of the country singers of the 90s, Toby Keith was actually one of the more tolerable ones. He had like, the never smoke weed with Willie again. Beer for my horses was a jam. Like I condemn him and his right-wing bullshit. I think it was a bit of an act, and fuck him for that. What are we? Oh, it's just the audio? Yeah, I'll check that out later. I'd like to see the video though. God damn, like the recording industry of the Association of America sucks ass. They apparently let Killer Mike get arrested at the Grammys. He says it stems from an altercation with an overzealous security guard. Motherfucker won like 3 Grammys that night, if I'm not mistaken. Killer Mike says an overzealous, and I can't find that. I need to listen to his new album. I have his old album, but I can't find it on any of my usual pirating sites. But for Killer Mike, I'm gonna actually drop the money and buy his album because I can't just get it easily. I'll go ahead and buy it. He's worth it. Killer Mike says an overzealous security guard contributed to the physical altercation that led to his arrest after the rapper and activist won 3 awards at the Grammys. As you can imagine, there was a lot going on, and there was some confusion around which door my team and I should enter. We experienced an overzealous security guard, but my team and I have the utmost confidence that I will ultimately be cleared of all wrong. He has charges? On Sunday, Mike was escorted in handcuffs by Los Angeles police at Crypto.com Arena, which is the most hilarious name. Yes, he won 3 Grammys and then got arrested. Is there a more fitting summation of the black experience in America? After joyous moments for him at the Grammys premiere ceremony, where he won his awards in quick succession, he had won his first Grammy in more than 2 decades. Police said Mike was detained after the altercation and booked on a misdemeanor. The rapper, whose real name is Michael Render, was released Sunday evening on his own recognizance. He is scheduled to appear in court on February 29th in Los Angeles. In his statement, Mike thanked the Grammys for recognizing his work. He also noted that he and his wife are elated after finding out Monday that their son, who was on a list for a kidney for years, found a match. They arrested him. Yeah, he does call himself Killer Mike. We're incredibly proud and are basking in this moment, he said. I'm also grateful that one of my prayers has been answered the day after my Grammy win. Mike's first win came after he won for Best Rap Performance for Scientists and Engineers, which he also took home Best Rap Song. The single features Andre 3000, Future, and Aaron Allen Kane. He won Best Rap Album for Michael. Before Sunday, Mike's last Grammy came in 2003 when he won for The Whole World for Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group. When he collected his 3rd award, the Atlanta-based rapper shouted out, "Sweep! Atlanta, it's a sweep!" As a member of Run the Jewels, Mike, along with producer LP, pumped out 4 critically acclaimed albums. He made noise outside of music as a social political activist who has spoken out against inequality for black people, race relations, and became a vocal supporter of Senator Bernie Sanders' 2016 U.S. presidential campaign. I think he's a Cornel West supporter right now, but to be honest with you, when it comes to a Cornel West campaign, there's not a lot to support. He has apparently decided to launch a whole new party now. It's fucked up. I don't know what Cornel West is doing. I'd like to play you more Cornel West, but there just isn't really anything to do. There's not video. He's not appearing on shit right now. He's not going out there and doing rallies or interviews. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Kennedy's even died down on his visibility. We're in a weird moment in the election cycle. All third parties seem to have fizzled out. Marianne Williamson, holy shit! Like her former staffers are telling everyone not to get involved with her campaign. So Biden or bust, motherfuckers. I'm not endorsing it. Oh, I appreciate that clinically. Is it like shit quality though? Somebody record on their phone off the TV. I'll check it out after we get off here. We're gonna talk about some bullshit. We're in the bullshit segment of the stream now. Elon Musk is funding a lawsuit brought on by Gina Carano against Disney for getting ousted from The Mandalorian, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Because they dug up some stupid shit she said on social media. Jesse Waters covering the ex-Mandalorian star suing Disney.
Walt Disney famously said, if you can dream it, you can do it. For over a century now, Disney's used dreams and ideas to entertain us. Everyone, from the most liberal family in California to the most conservative family in Wyoming. Disney never discriminated until now. 3 years ago, actress Gina...
Walt Disney was a fucking Nazi.
Why? For speaking her mind. And she was one of Disney's
Nazi adjacent,
beloved up-and-coming actresses.
Well, this has been a real treat. Unless you want to go another round. One of us is going to have to move on, and I was here first.
Now, what you saw on the big screens, what you got in real life. Carano's never been afraid of any...
Now, wait a minute, wait. I was not under the impression that she was an up-and-coming actress, and that I was under the impression that this was kind of a minor role in The Mandalorian, that this wasn't any leading fucking material here. I might be wrong, I don't know, I don't watch it.
She doesn't hold back. She's criticized social media censorship, COVID lockdowns, BLM. She even said her pronouns were beep, bop, boop, like R2-D2. She said we need to clean up the election process by putting laws in place that protect us against voter fraud. She said screaming at someone that they're racist when they're not makes you a coward and a bully. Everything she said, I've said, you've said, isn't that controversial? Except to Disney. So they fired her. Quote, her social media posts denigrating people
John Cena's awesome.
On their cultural and religious...
Go watch Peacemaker.
And unacceptable. But Carano says Disney hunted her down. Quote, my words were consistently twisted to demonize and dehumanize me as an alt-right-wing extremist. It was a bullying smear campaign.
I have a feeling that Jesse Waters didn't play the worst tweets. Hold on.
campaign aimed at silencing and destroying and making an example out of me. Today, she announced that with the help of Elon Musk, she's suing Disney. Gina Carano joins us now. Gina, why do you think, after all of the things said and done by actors and actresses of all political stripes, you were specifically targeted?
Oh, that's a good question. I think maybe
They don't even look like her. What?
I'm a bit unassuming. I am easy to work with, and I think sometimes, you know, if you asked anybody on that set, they would say, you know, I was the most non-controversial person. But I think, like we've seen all over America, you know, a lot of us are getting sick.
She shared an Instagram post that compared hating someone for their political views to persecution of Jews during the Holocaust, and included an image taken during the Lvov pogroms. Many critics interpreted the post as comparing American conservatives to Jews in Nazi Germany. Shortly afterwards, Lucasfilm stated that Carano was no longer employed with the company, saying that her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. Her posting of a series of posts in which she mocked the use of face masks during the COVID-19 pandemic was also criticized, or also cited by Lucasfilm, as well as her repeated belief of voter fraud during the 2020 election. So yeah, it sounds like a all-right nut job.
And tired. And so I think that I was a bit unassuming in standing up, and I think that's why I was targeted.
What have you learned from all of this? I mean, you were at one of the biggest perches in the entertainment field, and now
you weren't
next
targeted.
Day you were canceled.
What I've learned is that if this can happen to me, this can happen to...
She's probably making more money working for Ben Shapiro. Holy shit, what has happened to you? You're on Fox fucking News, the biggest news channel on cable. What the hell? How have you been punished in any way or canceled?
Anyone. I'm easy to work with, and I am passionate about what we do. I'm always excited to be on set. I even worked with them as much as I possibly could to resolve any issues that they had. But, you know, eventually you have a line, and, you know, when that line gets crossed, you just have to say, enough. Enough is enough. And if I look back on if I would have caved and I would have done something that disrespected myself, then I wouldn't be doing any favors to the next generation, to my nieces, to your children, you know. And I felt like since I didn't have any children, I was a person that could stand up and say some things. And the things that I said were so gentle. They weren't aggressive. They were never with ill intent. They were never malicious. And that's how I know, because I was so conscious that, you know, if this can happen to me, this will happen to you. And if we just pass this along to the next generation, you know, it's just going to get worse and worse.
Ma'am. Do you realize how many jobs I've lost because of my mouth? It happens to me all the fucking time. It's just life. You deal with it.
Advice, because people, young Americans, come up to me all the time and they say, Jesse, I love what you say. I believe the same thing, but at my job or my college, I can't really say that because I'll get in trouble. What do I do? It's very hard to navigate this crazy world that we live in. So, you know, I guess your story is very inspiring to a lot of people, Gina.
I have people at these fan expos that I absolutely love, and I have them coming up in tears. In mass amounts of people come up in tears and just thank me for taking a stand, thank me for saying the things that I said, and that has made it all worth it. No matter what happens, that has made it all worth it. And I really applaud Elon Musk and X for championing me in this lawsuit, and I appreciate all your love and support out there. and I hope I make you proud.
Oh, well, we feel that. Thanks, Gina, and good luck on the litigation.
Okay, so here's the thing: is I think they think they're gonna pull like the Covington kid, right? CNN didn't want to have to deal with it. They offered like fucking 20 grand or something, right? Like, we'll settle for 20 grand. Nobody can say anything. It was settled it was settled before it went to trial. NDAs are signed. CNN's like, okay, 20 grand's less than we're gonna pay lawyers to fight this fucking thing, and they settle. I think they're thinking Disney's gonna do that, but like Disney is like an uber litigious fucking company, and I think they will take you to fucking court and they will fight your ass. So I hope this is like a money sink for Elon Musk. That like, I don't think there's any possibility of her winning this case.
Was posted.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Shut up, Sean Hannity. I mean, I guess stranger things have happened. I was about ready to say, should I put myself at the end of my clips I make with the Troll Patrol? But it'd kind of be funny if I put Lester at the end. I wonder if I can come up with some way to make Lester say other things that he didn't actually say. I mean, I'm sure I can. I'm going to put Lester at the end of the Troll Patrol. That's what I'm saying. Like, fucking, there is no way this lawsuit goes anywhere. It is a fool's errand. And what better fool than Elon Musk? Hold on, let me go to a different fucking browser. This shit's pissing me off. I got the giggles tonight. I'm not high enough for this shit. Oh, that would be hilarious, wouldn't it? Well, sure ass. I love that. Clinically might be on to something. Clinically always coming in with the banger ideas. I thought you said Walsh, and I thought you were like telling me to close all of the clips with this.
JustinFREAKIN is a formidable voice in the culture.
My story's not gonna load up. I don't like it. Close this browser. Let's try another browser. We got browsers out the ass over here. It's like you ever see that clip in Dusk Till Dawn where he's like, pussy, pussy, pussy. Oh wow, this is gonna be a wild ride for 30 seconds. I got browsers.
Hey Justin, are you trolling?
The Roseanne Barr wants to be on The View.
People are so fucking stupid. I can't take it no more, and there's no drugs that help me. There's no antidepressants that's helping me with this.
Well, I think yelling about it.
Goldberg, she's getting paid to do this, having this old age nervous breakdown, but she's getting paid to lie. Now, you gotta have script writers to lie. I can do this all day because it's true. I can do The View and be all and off the top of my own head. Fuck you, Hollywood.
It is saying something. Like, honestly, I think they would love to have Roseanne if she could tone it down like 10%. And she can't. I think they would absolutely snatch her up in a heartbeat. But she just can't. Like, she's across the line. if she could reel it back in just a little, she's in Alex Jones territory. Yeah, like it is. She is probably like suffering from some mental health issues, but it's not like she doesn't have access to health care.
People are so fucking stupid. I can't take it no more, and there's no drugs that help me. There's no antidepressants that's helping me with this.
Well, I think yelling about it.
Goldberg, she's getting paid to do this, having this old age nervous break.
She's really jealous of Whoopi Goldberg. Do you think that's some kind of long-standing thing? They would have come up about the same time. They would have been comedians about the same time. Not only like stars at the same time, but they would have been like road comics at the same time.
Breakdown, but she's got it getting paid to.
Yeah, but okay. To be fair, Roseanne is a like that is a pivotal show in the history of television, and it is incredibly leftist. What is it? Big Joel has like the leftist reading of Roseanne. It's like a 3-hour video. Excellent. Go watch it. It would be funny as fuck. This is what I'm saying. Everybody would love to have Roseanne on the. I would love to have Roseanne on The View, but Roseanne can't fucking restrain herself. It might be 20%. She needs to reel it back. Yes, it was liber stuff. I'll give you that clinically. But like, it was one of the first true depictions of working class on TV, and that's something. Of a true working class, not supposedly working class and lives in like a gigantic house.
A lie.
I also like Roseanne. I'm a Roseanne fan. I usually watch some Roseanne every now and again.
Now, you gotta have script writers to lie. I can do this all day because it's true. I can do The View and be all and off the top of my own head. Fuck you, Hollywood.
I watched The Conners. I think I'm caught up on that. I think like there hasn't been a new episode made that I haven't seen. I think like it starts in another week or two. So like I like the show. I can't help it. But like I actually like the show a lot better without Roseanne. Like I think firing her was a really good thing. I like everybody else. I like Becky and Darlene and well they got rid of fucking DJ. Are you making a joke, Chainsaw, or do you really not remember? 'Cause I'll recap it for you if you want. I learned about this next story completely. So they've used both. So original Becky is the actual Becky on the show, but the replacement Becky was her surrogate mother. Or was going to be her surrogate mother. Or the old Becky was going to be new Becky's surrogate mother, and then they ended up like, you know, like Becky fell off the wagon or some shit. But yeah, it was a cool, like that is an inventive way of using both of them. Hell yeah, the Troll Patrol. Let me hit this one.
Hey, Justin, are you trolling?
What's that dude's name? I don't even remember his name anymore. Whatever happened to him? Like, Dave quit covering him because, like, he had, like, a nervous breakdown. Austin Bennett. That was his name. That dude was wild. You know what other dude is wild? This singer by the name of Drake, who apparently had his dick out, and everybody been talking about it. He is speaking after an inappropriate video of him leaked on social media. Drake became a trending topic on X after an alleged video of him leaked online. In the viral clip, a man who appeared to be the Canadian superstar undressed from the bottom down. This one's going too fast for me. Hold on. Where's the settings on this shit? It's too fast for me. I can't read it. Kind of sounds like a Drake song now. In the viral clip, a man who appeared to be the Canadian superstar undressed from the bottom down began touching himself while sitting on a bed.
You live in sexual anarchy?
The headboard of the leaked video seems to match the one that Drake has on his $220 million private jet. $220 million private jet? Is Drake worth that much? Like, if you asked me what he was worth, I would have said like $220 million. He's got it just to spare on a fucking private jet? What the fuck? After the video garnered hundreds of thousands of reactions online, popular streamer Aiden Ross decided to send Drake, born in Aubrey Garham, a voice memo about the clip. Aiden Ross just has him on speed dial. Ross claimed Drake replied and put like 8 laughing emojis. Oh, this was the Drake response? 8 laughing emojis? And though the Degrassi alum has had women throwing themselves in their undergarments at him, he is still single. As I understand it, he likes to groom young women. That's what I've heard through the grapevine. But also, I will say, everyone who has seen his dick says it's really nice. I mean, that has been the overwhelming consensus that the man has a really nice penis. So if you if you were wondering what Drake's penis looks like, you didn't want to go see it for yourself, it's apparently very nice. John Cena shared out a very funny meme on his Instagram trying to roast Drake. It seems to be Drake the Snake Roberts. You were unaware of the wrestler Drake's face has been photoshopped into. His massive python. I almost put a big brown dildo on the thumbnail and blurred it out, but I couldn't make the blur look good. And I was like, it's probably overkill anyway. I have Drake behind the content warning. Probably should have hit the content warning before that video. I sent Sparkles a meme about how I had no clue what was going on with Drake. And I was too afraid to ask. And she's like, I have the video. Everybody's seen his dick. I ain't seen no Drake dick. Here's a squirrel tripping an intruder alarm.
guns drawn and on high alert.
Oh, wait a minute.
Officers from Missouri's Liberty
Unless
Police
unless you want to do drunk squirrels.
moved into a home. The department says they were dispatched due to an intrusion alarm. Officers reported hearing noises coming from inside of the home.
For people that watch Ben Shapiro like this.
And the noises continued.
Let's go. We'll just start clearing room by room.
Slowly moving into the residence, one of the cops sees the suspect.
Oh, it's right there. It's a squirrel.
The segment is on benzos.
Guard.
Gonna drop a cigarette on your couch. Burn a hole in it here in a second.
So now you can disregard the help. We got a squirrel in the house.
4 legs and a bushy tail. The squirrel set off the alarm and triggered the law enforcement response.
This reminds me of the scene from
Who law enforcement has nicknamed Rocky.
Still
on the loose.
From Christmas Vacation.
Police advise the public who may encounter him to approach with extreme caution.
Nix! Yes, the squirrel is lucky it did get shot. They had the guns drawn.
Edition Digital. I'm TC Newman.
I had to slow the YouTube down. The squirrel triggered an alarm. I had to slow YouTube down for the last story because like the text was going too fast for me to read it. And it was a lot better. The music was better that way anyway. The music was a lot cooler, slowed down. But then the next story was the squirrel, and I just decided to let Inside Edition sound drunk. And I'm probably slurring my words a little bit because I'm getting tired and I'm really high. I just noticed how like bloodshot my eyes are. Really fucking high. But here's an owl. He's Bitey. He's gorgeous. Who here would own an owl? I bet. So I follow this God, that's why it's so loud. I follow this Carceval or whatever the fuck it is. There's the Tracy Morgan, Luke Combs, god damn it. Chapman, yes. That wasn't on purpose, but it was kind of funny. And then I realized what I said, but I still couldn't think of her last name. It was like I knew it wasn't Morgan though. You know, I didn't even think about that, but like my cats would want to get that fucking owl. I guess those are two animals that probably wouldn't play well. I can imagine how Maynard and that owl would square up. And I'd put my money on Maynard. Well, I don't know. Maynard's kind of a little puss. Like, he acts tough, but then, like, anytime somebody comes over, he hides behind the washing machine. Like, I have never seen a cat like this in my life. Like, he's all bark and no bite. Like, he'll act like he'll square up on you. But he ain't gonna do shit. I don't want to get copyright. That owl's so cute. Sunday night is the Super Bowl. Or the superb owl, as some people like to call it. I would say that we are looking at the very definition of a superb owl. I want to say that owl is like Maynard's size, but it might be slightly bigger. But like, I don't know how much of it is puff and how much of it is, you know, actual body of the owl. I don't know how fluffy they are. It seems tiny to me. Like maybe it's like 1.5 feet tall. I have no idea about anything. I hope Taylor wins. I'm rooting for Taylor. And there's an Usher concert. Usher. And I heard 2 hip hop legends were supposed to appear with Usher. Usher. Unfortunately, I kind of think it's going to be Little John. And I don't really consider that a hip hop legend, but to each their own. And also, it's not my place is a white boy to decide who is and isn't a hip hop legend. I'll leave that to people far more qualified than me. But I just like, I found Little John kind of annoying. I found him to be a fad. But maybe he's got some kind of 20 years of underground cred I don't know about. I reserve the right to be wrong about Little John. But I thought he was just kind of an annoying fad. Was only big for like a year or two. Like every song had Little John in it for like 2 summers. And then poof, he was gone. Like a fart in the wind. Yeah! He may have tried to stick around, DJ Dub. I don't know enough to make that proclamation. He probably did try to stick around. Oh, did he? Okay, see, I reserve the right to be wrong about Lil Jon. And I'm not, Usher is one of the artist that I've been least excited for. If you don't know the story, apparently it was supposed to be Lizzo. And the Lizzo rapes her or sexually assaults her backup dancers with the banana story came out. I still don't know what to believe about that because like 3 dancers are accusing her and like 18 dancers are defending her, and it's like so I don't know what I think about it, but apparently it was supposed to be Lizzo, and I would have enjoyed Lizzo a hell of a lot more than Usher. But it is what it is. I'll reserve the right to be wrong. Like maybe it'll be a killer halftime show. What was last year was Rihanna. Rihanna was alright. Not my favorite, not anywhere near the worst. Was the year before Dr. Dre? Or was that 2 years before? Am I skipping a year? I'm sorry, DJ Dub. I ate a big meal, I smoked a bong, and I got comfy on the couch. And woke up and I was like, oh shit, I missed the stream. That's all there was to Sunday night. That's just like, Justin got too comfy with Smokey. I missed you guys on Sunday night. I'm going to try to never miss a stream again. Now that I'm on a shortened schedule, I'm going to try to stick regular to it. Every now and again, I just fall asleep. It happens. I'm an old man now. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin.